Part 2. Sorry, my camera just died.
Hi.
Hi again. So as we were saying, we were talking about the dance museum, and there were so many costumes there. They covered Chinese, Indian, Indonesian, Bali, different types of Indian,
and
African, Japanese. No Korean though, unfortunately, which she's gonna definitely get started at that museum. Lots of Swedish things too, actually. Swedish ballet, the Russian ballet. There were some amazing costumes from a couple of productions.
And of course the modern dance.
Yeah. And different mediums of art, which was amazing.
Yeah.
And so that was before the Skansen Museum on our second day in Stockholm. The third day, after we saw all of Stockholm, we took our lunch over to the Grönalund Tioli, I guess.
What is it?
It's the amusement park. That's where we had our lunch. Right next to it. We took a ferry over to the next island, and that was pretty cool. Very crowded though. And lunch was good. Then we walked over to the Skandisk Museum.
She doesn't like roller coaster. She can't ride it.
I'm not gonna lie.
Okay, go ahead.
So we walked over to the Skansen Museum, and we took our time on the 4th floor. We started the 4th. It was okay. It was really hot though. We saw Swedish folk culture artifacts, I guess you could say, and we saw Sami. There was a whole exhibit on Sami culture and what they're like, how they see themselves, how they were oppressed, and how they've been fighting this repression.
And how they are living right now.
Yeah. And who considers themselves Sami. It was pretty interesting. You know, it's a personal decision. And, yeah, so that was pretty cool. Unfortunately, when we got to the 3rd floor, when we were looking at furniture, of all things, in Sweden, we got an announcement that we had 20 minutes left. So we ran to the next 2-3 floors, and we ran through the furniture floor, 18th to 20th century lifestyles of the poor. We ran through a shoe exhibit, a toy exhibit, food exhibit, which was pretty cool.
And fans mask.
Yeah. The masks were really, really cool. That was on the ground floor, and that's the last thing we looked at. We missed another exhibit, I think, that had African art, but that's all we had time for. And I actually saw something that was pretty impressive. An early 20th century fencing mask, which looks like it wouldn't protect you from any blades or anything. But it was pretty cool. I took pictures in the museum. I wasn't supposed to. So yeah, that was really cool. Then we had to rush back, and David took us to the lake so we could take pictures during the daytime. Then we packed up, had dinner in Gamlastan with him and Zemke. We went to this really touristy restaurant where the cheapest meal was meatballs, Swedish meatballs and potatoes, which cost us 98 kroners, which is ridiculous. It was good though, very filling, but very expensive. So after that he took us to City Hall, and we took some pictures there, and then we boarded our train. The train was very cramped. It was a 6-person couchette, 3 people on each side, and it was 4 guys and the 2 of us. Luckily they were really quiet. And yeah, it wasn't that bad, but it was just really cramped and hot. So sleeping was kind of interesting. Getting ready for bed was a chore.
But we could sleep because we were so tired.
Yeah, we were exhausted.
Yeah. It was quite a nice experience for us.
We were definitely excited to get onto the train, so we're running in, trying to make sure we don't get onto the one going to Malmö. And luckily we didn't end up in Malmö, but it was definitely an experience. I don't know. I'd probably do it again, but maybe with some more people and when it's more comfortable, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah. We woke up around 8 a.m. and arrived in Oslo. And every morning we were in somewhere new, or just every morning I would ask Suyin, can you believe we're in Göteborg, Stockholm, Oslo? Her answer would be,
Of course not.
it was really surreal just to be traveling around.
But it's true that I can't believe right now that we visited Sweden and Norway.
All these places, it's
Yeah.
just crazy.
And you too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I can't believe.
It hasn't settled in yet, but we do feel something really sad that it's already over. But Oslo, getting to Joseph's was kind of interesting. I followed his directions until we got to Ulevo Stadion, and from there I had no idea where to go. So I walked to the shell to ask the guy, who was really nice. He let me use his phone to call Joe, because my friends work in Norway and Sweden. And he had no idea where to go. I couldn't reach Joseph. A man walked in. He asked the customer, do you know how to get to the student house? And the man knew the route, so we jumped in his car. Sorry, Mom.
Stranger's car.
Yeah, stranger's car. Exactly. So it seemed kind of sketchy, but it wasn't that bad. He was a really nice man. He was a physical therapist in Oslo. He went to the University of Seattle, or a university in Seattle, or Portland maybe, somewhere on the northeast border of the U.S. He did pre-med, and he was there on a full scholarship for track and field. So it was pretty cool. We got to know a little bit about him in the 5-10 minutes we were sitting in his car.
Less than 5 minutes.
Kind of terrified because we're sitting in the stranger's car. But it worked out fine.
Yeah.
So, hi, Mom. Yeah. We ended up at Joseph's right by a telephone booth after walking around trying to figure out where he lived exactly, because there's lots of houses and apartments there. We stopped at a telephone booth, gave him a call, couldn't get to him. Stupid thing ate at least 10 kroners from me. And so we're trying again. All of a sudden I see this tall, skinny boy walking by, and I just go, Joseph? He stops dead in his tracks, turns around and looks at us, and thank God it worked out.